Alright, folks, as y'all can see, that's the original Happy Guinea Pig, Piggy. It's my serious hat, my good hat. Alright, folks, I hope everybody out there knows I'm here having a good time. Everything I say is meant to have a good time. Or it might just be a personal opinion. My personal opinion might not fit you. You might have a different one. Good for you. The thing about an opinion is also known as a judgment. My judgment on something is not yours. Personal opinion. Unless we're talking about truth and facts and the evidence thereof. Then we're talking facts. Of course, now, I talked to someone once and told them the straight up facts on a subject. They just looked at me and said, well, that's your opinion. So the facts had got reduced to an opinion. Well, that's when somebody is choosing to remain ignorant on the truth of a thing because they don't want to see the truth and they want to remain ignorant on the truth. And folks, that's not on me. That's not my problem. That's somebody else's problem. If they refuse to see the truth, that's their problem. You know, it's like, I got a little Chevy Cruze. I did one video on it, and there's a guy on there with it said, oh, hell, that was a poor design on that engine. Well, I responded and said, well, it might be. I ain't no mechanic, but it's what we could get a hold of and could afford at the time so that we could get around. And it's done us real good. You know, I think those electric vehicles are crap. And the evidence of that has been starting to show up. You know, but there's a lot of folks out there like them. They're kind of neat. And don't get me wrong, if they could make electric as viable as contemporary means, I'd be all about it. But the problem is they can't. You know, I'm going to give you another one. Judge not lest you be judged. Everybody likes to use that one to justify how they do. Because they know they may not be doing right. They may know they ain't doing right. So their defense is judge not lest you be judged. Well, folks, let me give you a little bit of information on that. If you read further on down, it'll also tell you, if you do judge righteous judgment. What's a righteous judgment? A righteous judgment is when you take all the facts you can possibly obtain on the subject and then judge accordingly and righteously. Good or bad, you make a righteous judgment. So if you can make a righteous judgment, you know as much as there can possibly be known about that subject, and you declare it bad, well, you've made a righteous judgment. And you don't have to be in fear of judge not lest you be judged. Unless you got somebody who wants to remain ignorant of the truth and then wants to point their finger at you and say, nah, boo-boo. You know, well, that's their problem. They're going to be the one to have to worry about the judge not lest you be judged part, because you make a righteous judgment, you did the right thing. And I'll tell you another one. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Folks, that is a false teaching. You know what that does? When somebody is doing wrong, and somebody goes to correct them all and say, hey, buddy, you know, you might want to change your mind on that because of this, and this. Well, because it can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, it shuts the mouths of those who see the truth. And that allows for folks to be able to go out there and do just whatever anything they want to and think they're okay. Well, guess what? You ain't. It's like freedom. Freedom is not free, but I'll tell you something else freedom is. Freedom is not the right to go out there and do just whatever the heck you want to. Freedom is the responsibility to do the right things. You do right by yourself and you do right by others. Is what you feel is right for you going to harm someone else? Well, if it is, you don't have the freedom and right to do that. If what you do causes a burden on somebody else, but you want to do it anyway, guess who's wrong? You are. And judge not unless you be judged ain't going to be a defense for you. You know, there's folks out there, they do all sorts of things. There's some that can pay for it and pay their own and not be a burden to nobody. Hey, they're fine. I ain't got a problem with them. But if you're doing it and you expect somebody else to pay for other aspects of your life that needed to have been paid for before you did what you wanted to do, yeah, you wrong. Straight up. So opinions, they're judgments. What I judge to be all right for me or not all right for me is my personal opinion. It's not based on any facts other than I like this and I don't like that. It has no bearing on anybody else. You know, I'm going to go into another one that's probably going to hurt a little bit. In the Bible, and I might be inclined to look it up, so I put it out there. But then again, I may make y'all just go in there and look it up for yourself. It ain't nothing like going in and looking for it for yourself. But it's in black and white. The Bible says, it is not what goes in the mouth that defiles the temple. It is what comes out of the mouth. I might want to keep that in mind. You know, some people like to do some things, they like to do it in excess. Well, that's their choice. Jesus said all things in moderation. All things. No matter what it is. All things in moderation. All things in moderation. You can live a good, long, healthy life. Unless God has determined to bring you home early. And that's in His plan. You know. But all things in moderation. And it's not what goes in the mouth that defiles the temple, which is the body. It's what comes out of the mouth is what defiles the temple. So, bear that in mind. What may be good for me may be bad for you. What may be good for you may be bad for me. It's like chocolate. Oh, I used to love that stuff. I still love that stuff, but it don't love me. And anytime I bring up, you know, that I'm allergic to it, it'll kill me dead, put me out on the floor within 24 hours of ingesting it. You know, I've made some women about cry when I told them about it. May be good for you, but it ain't good for me. Now, I love to sit and watch somebody sit there and eat it and enjoy it. I get my enjoyment from it that way now. Because it's all good. But I'm not going to eat it. I'm not ready to go 4 paws up. Neither is she.
No.
You know, so what I say on here and on her channel, you know, well, on here I'll be more serious about stuff. But on her channel, I'm having a good time. I'm the comic relief. I'm attempting to make people laugh. It's not anything about or against anybody. To each their own. Because I ain't going to judge you for what you like or don't like. Some people have to do certain things a certain way. That's how they live. Or they want to try to live a different way.
Or they have a medical condition.
Or they have a medical condition that requires it. Got nothing against that. It's not for me to have anything against that. To each their own. Mm-hmm. Personally, I could care less. That's you, not me. Hello. Anyway, those are some things that come across the piggy's mind. And anybody's free to feel, is welcome to feel different about it and disagree with it and all like that. But if you get down and study it like I have, I'm going to guarantee you're going to find out some truth, unless you're choosing to remain willfully ignorant. Because it comes to biblical stuff, folks, I've done some heavy studies. Taking it to the Greek and the Hebrew myself. Studied the history of it myself. Hadn't relied on others to tell me. Now, I've had others I've listened to. They've alluded to certain things that are there or come right out with it. I went and looked for it myself and studied it out. So, to each their own, folks. What goes in defiles, or doesn't defile, is what comes out. And I ain't going to judge you. I might tell you you're wrong. You might disagree. But I'm going to guarantee you, if I get bold enough to go out on a limb and tell you you're wrong, when you get into studying it, you're going to wish you had listened. Or you might not. I don't know. You might not care because you wish to remain willfully ignorant. Like my neighbor. She wanted to judge me and think I ain't as hurt as bad as I am and everything. I straight up told her, I said, well, I can get my neurologist to explain it to you. She said, no, he wouldn't be able to make me believe it either. That's a person who chooses to remain willfully ignorant because they would rather be able to gossip and judge another unrighteously. Guess what, folks? That person, not a week or two after that, suffered a second great loss in her life. And she still ain't figured it out. But God fights my battles. She judged unrighteously. Now, whether that loss had anything to do with what she judged me for, maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But it's awful coincidental, and I'm like Jethro of NCIS. I don't believe in coincidence. Piggy loves you. Gotta go.